pleasure to welcome Nephi Craigh to the Circle Tree Ranch, where he was many moons ago in 2011. We're very proud of him and the work he is doing for so many people. The Amity philosophy is based on the belief that life is an apprenticeship to the truth. Around every circle of truth, a larger circle can grow. The extent to which this circle expands depends upon the force of truth that the individual manifests. Nephi's demonstration has been one of an ever-expanding circle of truth that has touched the lives of his family, his community, and the First Nation communities in the United States. He continues to bring the reality of the history of First Nations into the present day and is an advocate for the real culture, traditions, and relationships that promote balance and preserve health and creativity. Nephi stated, this is one of your quotes, our work with the native foods and native food ways is really about the restoration of balance and this reclamation of our identity through food and landscape and health. That is really the direction that I am taking with my basic understanding of Western Apache cooking. Nephi has brought not only his own creativity to his work, but the creativity of his ancestors. The whole story of genocide and destruction of the ancient food ways. By including the whole story, his work is demonstrating a pathway for people to grow larger than what has wounded them. He starts at the beginning with what we must do every day to live. Eat. What we eat, how we eat it, how we prepare it can bring us into balance with ourselves and the world and help make us more conscious. Or it can take us far away from the balance that every living being deserves. I'm going to ask that we don't have to talk this. Thank you. Amity's philosophy states, no person is an island unto themselves. Each of us must consciously participate in our own evolution, helping ourselves and reaching out to each other. We are our brothers and sisters keepers. We teach by doing and not otherwise. Always our actions speak more clearly and loudly than our words. One teaches who gives, one learns who receives. Nephi has generously shared his journey of learning in his blog, with his organizations, and with his teachings. He has demonstrated and is participating not in his own evolution, but in the evolution of community. He is here today to teach and bring the gift of what he has learned to this community. Please learn as much as you can, keep an open mind, enjoy the gifts and teachings that he graciously has brought to us this weekend. Please remember, we do not know what it is we can do until we have tried, nor can we guess today the power of tomorrow when we are in the process of building ourselves. What Nephi has to share can bring to every person in this room and every person who prepares food for our community closer to the balance we all deserve. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Wow. Thank you for that introduction. You know, for this is a homecoming for me. When he started reading, when the first thing he said, our philosophy is based on the belief that life is an apprenticeship to truth. My throat started getting tight. Like I start feeling this emotional flood start coming back. You know, because when I say it's a homecoming, it's true. Last night we came in here to set up these chairs and set up the station. I walked in the doors and I felt everything I left behind here in Bear Hall. All the daily affirmations that I was afraid to give, and then all the affirmations I was giving my brothers and sisters towards the end. You know, I felt it. Felt it like echoing, reverberating, coming back. And it was powerful. It was beautiful. It was relieving. But it also reminded me about the power of transformation and the power of change, and how that's a humble and very sacred act. You know, this is not designed to be a motivational speech. It's not designed to put you on cloud nine. This is some real stuff. We are together here to save our lives. We are all coming from a point of trauma and hurt and loss and confusion, anger, incarceration, violence. That's us. And that blend of experience for us, that gives us our intelligence. We are able to exist in different realms. When we are able to understand and have the belief that we will see the triumph of principle, it's true. Like it's no lie. This is all, when it says we do not treat friendships delicately. Man, I learned that. I learned so much from that. You know, so much it's liberating. You know, to the point where it makes me feel happy. It makes me emotional. You know, it's helped me to build cooks. It's helped me to be my own friend. So, we do not treat friendships delicately, but with the roughest of courage. Like holding your brother accountable, holding your sisters accountable. Man, that's tough. It's heartbreaking. The group that I came through with when I left, from what I know with the people from my family of choice that I stayed in touch with, some of them passed on. Some of them went back to the old ways. Some of them stayed in their stinking thinking. And they went back and they fell off and passed away. People that really helped change my life. My demonstrator when I was here was David Nunez. How many of you knew him or remember him? What do you say? When we were in his lodge, you'd say, we're the fucking Marines of this shit. That's what he would say. Like, this is the Marines. We go into battle first. People have problems, they send us. We're getting this is your education to save your life. He would talk like that. And I would sit there like, man, they let him talk like that here? You know? But he was talking to me. He was meeting me where I was at. He understood, and we understand the therapeutic value of one addict to another, one brother to another, one community member to another, one Native person to another. That's where the real power is. Our experience, I say that for us as addicts and alcoholics in recovery, we are extremely emotionally intelligent. All of us here represent an individual family. And each and every one of us, you know what my theory is? We are emotionally intelligent enough to raise our hand and say, I need help. Each of us in our families. I'm the black sheep in my family of origin. Maybe you are too. But think about how frustrating that was. Maybe think about, maybe we don't have the language to articulate all the therapeutic terminology that we need to learn to unravel this knot in our heart. But we do know that our spirit is extremely intelligent. How do we know that? Because we can manipulate. We can code switch like that. We can be hanging out, talking with our buddies, doing whatever on the street corner in a situation, in a social situation, and our PO walks up behind us and code switch, right? Oh, how you doing, sir? You know, we code switch. We code switch from talking to our wives, our significant others, our POs, our counselors, our brothers, our friends. We know how to get our way really quick. And what I learned in staying sober is that we take that street smarts, we take that emotional intelligence, because the experience of surviving addiction and getting to this room, that's the education. There's emotional intelligence, and there's EQ and IQ. And I guarantee if you up your EQ, you can push your IQ even higher. Because your emotional intelligence allows you to see yourself better, healthier, have confidence. Having humility and understanding it will allow us to be able to pursue the triumph of principle, to have the roughest courage, to understand our brothers, to build a family of choice. And then we can stand on something strong and continue our education. But our education comes from the streets. Our education comes from waking up handcuffed to hospital beds. Our education comes from our incarceration units, psych wards, the streets. blood, sweat, and tears, and scars, and pain. That's where our education comes from. And that's not to dismiss formal classroom education. Our experience, our shared experience, is what the professional world studies. It's what therapists and doctors and what they go to school to understand. The therapeutic value of me sharing with you is extreme. And sometimes I get emotional because that's just life. That's how it is when you sober up. When you finally are able to trust the process. You know, and when they say trust the process, it's not just words. It's not some Hallmark greeting card, you know. It's real. It's real life. And when you can, how many of you are in threshold right now? Raise your hands. Sucks, right? You guys are all like, unplug that TV and it'll go shh, right? That's how threshold feels. That's how early recovery feels. And the more you trust it, trust what people say to you. For those that have been there, that static will clear and you'll find clarity. And you can train yourself to find that humility and to trust what other people are saying. When they say take the cotton out of your ears and put it in your mouth, right? They say shut up and listen, keep it simple, sweetheart, man, right? They say all these things because they're real. The irony of this healing process is that it is so simple. It is so simple that it's baffling, right? It's so simple that it doesn't seem like it would work. So remember that for us, our shared experience has the impact to be able to help someone else, to save their life. One example I can share with you is that I was sitting in my recovery story goes back since I was probably 14 and much earlier. I didn't know that I had it wasn't that I had a drug problem or an alcohol problem. I had a dependency problem. And I was receiving messages and I learned certain things from when I was this small. That I grew up absorbing different messages from society, religion, culture, my peers, professionals, teachers, and I couldn't just find my true self. I didn't realize that even though I could talk a good game, I didn't have the everyday skills to consistently, buy clothes, pay the bills, do those everyday normal things. I grew up dependent, and I grew up hurt. And all of us here, we are like that. We have the intelligence to self-medicate. So we don't know exactly what's bothering us because it's so much static. But we do know that one thing will work for us. The one thing in the whole world, and that's our drug of choice. Relationships don't work. Jobs don't work. Church doesn't work. Spirituality doesn't work. All those things don't work, but one thing we have control over that we know will get us our fix is our drug of choice. So we don't have a drug problem. We have, I have a Nephi problem. Like you have a you problem. It's about learning how to do those basic everyday tasks to stand on your own 2 feet. So this was the 9th treatment center that I came to before it finally worked for me. I remember sitting outside. I used to run the track in the morning all the way around the dirt road. And one morning I was sitting out there. I was done with threshold, and I was sitting outside my lodge sweating and all. I remember feeling like I had an out-of-body experience sitting down. My heart pumping, I'm sweating, I just got done running. And I was sitting over there and I could see the trees moving in the distance, and they kind of move like dominoes. Start coming closer and closer and closer. And then I feel the breeze and I feel nice and cool. And for the first time, I could see myself as like I had survived a war. I could see clearly that I was broken and in an institution, that I was in a therapeutic community. I could see myself, and it was like I was put my arm around myself and say, yo, Nephi, it's gonna be all right, man. I'm gonna take care of you now, take care of you now. It's all right. And the way that I would say something like that to my brother, to my cousins, my relatives, I could finally say that to me. Like, you know what, man, screw it. Screw it if people make fun of you because you like to play the piano. You know? Screw it if you like to cook. You know? Doesn't matter. You know, nothing wrong with enjoying poetry and being able to write poetry. You know, that doesn't determine who you are. You know? And finally finding that peace where I could treat myself like my own best friend for the first time ever. And that was a leap forward for me. And I share that a lot because it's true. You know, it's true. And so since then, it's like learning how to take my own advice and how to trust what other people are saying to me. Because the reason that they say trust the process is because for us in these rooms that are in recovery, we don't know how to function and do the things, everyday things. That's what we need to learn consistently from other people that have been there. And kind of the part of the puzzle that trips us up is that we don't believe it can be that simple, that easy. What do? We future trip, right? We intellectualize the process. We create whatever narrative about ourselves to make a decision on a fantasy. Though the brothers and sisters that are in threshold right now, you're tripping out, worrying about outside, family, job, people you felt like you left behind. But really, in all reality, when you come to treatment, you're giving your family a break from you. That's what's happening. They're relieved you're in a safe environment. They're not worried about us coming home anymore, wasted, intoxicated. They're not worrying if we're going to get a phone call from, Pinal County Sheriffs or the RPOs or we're in prison or dead. They're not scared of that no more. They know we're safe. And it's up to us now when you're in early recovery the reason they put you in threshold, I didn't know it back then. Like I had been used to all these other structured treatment centers, right, where you got to do all this kind of stuff. For me, I had intellectualized recovery too much. I didn't realize that it was a complete biological, spiritual, emotional, and intellectual detox. My thinking was rapid fire thinking. Stinking thinking, rapid fire, like automatic weapon. Everything in the world, I was like stinking thinking it, right? Threshold is designed to let that static calm down. And then you start the treatment. That's why it's so long term. It's not a quick fix. So, all these things have shaped my work. I was a chef before I got to treatment. But coming here strengthened it. Everything that I have now stands on the triumphal principle. The belief that I have to trust the process. The way that I the best way I can share with you that I talk about these principles, love, respect, dignity, compassion, humility, responsibility. What else? What else is another good one? All those principles, there's a few more. But all those principles are like, they're like pillars that hold up our life, hold up everything we do. And the way I say it as an Apache person, as a Navajo person, I say that responsibility, love, humility, compassion, all these things, they're alive. They're floating in the universe. They exist in the unseen realm of thought, prayer, and ceremony. They're out there just like the sun, floating around. And there's another saying in Apache that wisdom sits in places. And that, to me, says responsibility. That's if I'm in early recovery and I'm mad at someone because they don't trust me yet, well, that's entitlement, and that's fatal for us. If we get out of treatment and we say, let me borrow your truck now. I said, no way, man. We feel all entitled because we did something. All we did was get drug-free. For me, when I got sober, I spent 14 years of my life drinking. I got sober when I was 30. And so 14, 15 years of my life, half my life, I spent fucking up and betraying people, manipulating, using people, places, and things. So I go to treatment for 60 days, 90 days, and I expect people to believe me now? Right? I spent my whole life not being able to be trusted. So that means I got to keep my mouth shut and show people, right? Demonstrate. I got to accept the fact that no one's going to trust me for a while. And I got to set a goal and be good to Nephi for a while. Let him heal, because he's all messed up. Like, we know that. So when I say that those principles are alive and existing, wisdom sits in places, we go to those principles. We go to them for the wisdom that's sitting there waiting for us. Because love, compassion, humility, responsibility, dignity, integrity, they're out there waiting for us. They've never gone anywhere. If all those principles are like that dragon, what we do in active addiction is turn our back on them. That's all. And if you think of them as alive entities in the universe, when we sober up and we clear the static and we begin to move forward, they're there for us. They've always been there for us. And they're going to take care of us. Time immemorial. Every civilization, every religion, every philosophy, they're human universal principles. And the way that I describe them is they're kind of like this. Like you get out of treatment, right? You get out of treatment and you're in early recovery. You're just like one of those real soft, mushy grasshoppers that crack out of their shell, right? Walking around all, you could bend an arm real easy, right? Get hurt or get crushed or die, you know? So you got to take care of yourself. And for me, love for myself was the first one. I could not see that using drugs was an act of violence to me. I had to have this really deep, simple but deep, profound paradigm shift that me using drugs, smoking, drinking, injecting, whatever it is, was the first act of violence to me. I didn't know that I was fluent in the vocabulary of violence. Now I have to become fluent in the vocabulary of affection through my actions. And that's the same for all of us. That's how if we're lonely, we want a friend, we got to be a friend. We want respect, we show respect. We want compassion, we show compassion. So everything that we come into treatment with, afraid of not having, everything that we want deep in our heart, your truest self, the self that loves the cool little things in life, that the true self that's insecure right now, we have to show the world that we create those things that we want. We want safety, we create it. So we come in hurt and damaged, and we have to get this skill set in emotional intelligence to get out and continue the battle. And we stand on these principles that are living. And for me, the first one, the toughest one, was loving myself. And so this is the best way I can describe it. Like, man, I have no idea how to love myself, right? Spent all those years hurting myself, jeopardizing my career, jeopardizing my relationships, hurting other people. So I have no clue, no idea how to love Nephi. But I know that it's possible. I had a real small glimmer out there in that field. So the best way I can describe it is that, so each one of these blocks, right? There's love, respect, humility, dignity, compassion, responsibility, sobriety. Each one of those. Remember that movie Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade? Remember that? Who's seen that? Remember he walks on that invisible bridge? Right? It's like that, right? Like, oh man, this is trusting the process. I'm so terrified of everything the unknown, right? But love is there for me. And I don't know how to do it, but to me, I feel like there's an endless pit that I'm going to fall into. My fear of the unknown and falling, that's what I think it is. So this is what it feels like. Like, shit. I just got to do it. And it's like, it's there. Still not holding off the edge. The next one, what? Responsibility. You don't know if it's there or not. You got to trust it. You know, there it is. All right. And then dignity. Respect, compassion, humility. And then the more you do that, that's the best way I can describe what trusting these principles is like. And when you do that, that's the triumph of the principle. That's how they work. It's so cool. And by doing that, you're trusting the process, you're showing self-care, and you're participating in your own evolution. So really cool stuff. Really, really, really cool stuff. But the first where it begins, where that all begins is in the unseen realm of the intimate self. The intimate self. We have all the masks. We have the conflicting ideas, the insecure self, the addict self, and our pure self. Like my true intimate self likes to cook, likes to write poetry, likes beautiful things, likes to skateboard, likes rap, likes hip hop. My addict self wanted me to overcompensate my masculinity because I like delicate things. Got me in a lot of trouble trying to prove myself to my peers, you know, because I was insecure and afraid and damaged and hurt, right? So the key, by trusting in your true intimate self, that's a real deep interior realm that only you know. That's why they say only you can do it, but you can't do it alone. So I'm real proud and happy to be able to be here and share this piece of it. Like I said, this is designed to be a series that's layered and gives you kind of an in-depth look not only at native foods, but I shared that first intro because my story is your story. I'm an addict. I'm an alcoholic. I used to be a deadbeat dad, you know? My kids who are here with me today, they've come full circle with me too. I'm not on this on my own. My kids, I had to get my kids to trust me. I had to get my kids to be not afraid of me anymore. And that took time. I couldn't get out and be mad, Dad's sober now. Treat him better. Treat me nice. Me, you know? So, that's why when I heard those first words, all that came flooding back. We went to the music room last night, and are you in here? One of our brothers was playing a guitar. He was playing a guitar, and when he was playing, I felt that resounding. For me as a person in sobriety, when I heard my brother in recovery playing, I could hear his talent. The frequency was sending all these reverberating messages that were echoing like this, and they were like echoing emotions. And I could feel the pain, I could feel the hurt, I could feel the happiness, and I could remember the trauma and the confusion, all from strumming. And I could feel from my brother who was playing and singing that my brother was in a place where he was safe. He was safe to strum and play and use his talent. You know, so I was like, wow, man. And my kids start playing the drums and making noise too, so it was cool, you know? So, remember, these things are true. We don't know how to be friends, but that's why we're here. That's why, you know, this circle of truth, it's like if I took a whole handful of these beans and threw them across a pond, right? Each and every one of you is one of those that has an ability to ripple and impact your reality. Daily we weave a tapestry of friendship, each becoming a part of the larger whole. Each of us constantly participate in our own evolution. And I think what this piece to me is what helped save my life. And those of you that have been there and done it, you know it's true. And those of you that are doubting it, you have no choice but to trust the process if you want to live. That's the bottom line. For us, there's no sugarcoating it. We are here to save our lives because what we have will kill us. It will. Spiritually dead or 6 feet under dead. It's a fact. And we think that somehow we're special. Somehow we're going to dodge the bullet. We're going to fight it and go back for another one. This addiction gives us the beat down of our lives. Nobody beats it. The addiction is the heavyweight contender of the world. You know? Undisputed. And we think we can beat it down. The only people that beat it are the ones that quit and put it away. The only ones that win are the ones that stop fighting it. So remember, that's how we do these things. And by doing that, like I said, blindfolded, like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to show myself love. That sounds so blah, blah, blah. Whatever messages you're getting from the world, trust those principles.